coming. Hey, Alex. Boy, is he dead too?
Do you like maps? How about a detailed hand-drawn map that reflects your favorite people, places, and things? Visit Cartograph Me on Instagram or Facebook and see the possibilities and the works of artist Philip Bailey. Remember, Cartograph Me, putting you on the map. Cry as they may, cry as they might, these three couldn't escape Leprechaun 1 and 2 tonight.
The luck of the Irish is being packed and shipped to a little town in South Dakota whose luck may have just run out.
We're really scared. Hello? I need the police. This is an emergency.
You can kill anything.
What the hell are you?
You just gotta know how to do it.
Hello? Leprechaun.
It's out. It's out of the crate.
We're going to expand our weekly video segment to take you into the back shelves of your local video store. Back where it says horror videos and where kids are devouring some awful films that we call the video nasties.
Are you freebasing? Inquiring minds want to know.
I have to break free from this culture of mechanical reproductions and the thick incrustations dying on the surface.
Fuck the prime time, bitch!
Not with the new flesh.
The pain, I can assure you, will be exquisite. As for our deaths, come with me and be immortal.
We have such sights to show you.
We've got to return some videotapes.
Hello, horror hounds, and welcome to the It Slays podcast. I'm your humble host, Rowan.
It's Auxilia.
And this is a gold coin that's actually milk fucking chocolate, Mike.
And we are back with a guest for the second episode in a row. He just can't get rid of us. Fan favorite Colton.
Yeah, it's the sequel.
So happy to be here.
Colton is like, please do not ask me for at least another 1,000 years.
Yeah, let's at least a year on this one, or until there's another good movie that's out to talk about.
So when they release a new Leprechaun movie, we're gonna just immediately send the messenger pigeon and.
Yeah. Oh man.
One's gotta be coming.
It's only a matter of time.
So I figured it's been a while. I'd start tonight.
I can't read your writing.
Oh, okay. I thought I was peeking at my question for the night.
No.
I do have a question for the night.
Oh, okay.
So I just want to let you guys know that before the episode, I actually used a Home Alone type contraption and captured a leprechaun. And we all get a wish.
I thought you were going to say a whiff.
You all take a whiff of this leprchaun.
Imagine what it smells
smell like.
Well, this leprechaun, I mean, did you see his teeth? He probably smelled like shit, I'm sure.
They did say he probably hasn't washed them in hundreds of years, which is 100% accurate.
We're talking about his teeth, behind that really shitty Sharpie that was making them all pointed, right?
That was pretty
and
bad also the Sharpie lipstick.
Sharpie lipstick. So I want to know, you guys each get one wish. What is your wish from the Leprechaun?
Okay.
So just like, all right, we're all great people. We'd wish for world peace and all that stuff, but you're talking about like actual, like a wish?
Yeah, I need like some Morty wishes here.
Like a nice, meaty, selfish... No selflessness right now. This has to be, like, the most selfish, satisfying thing that you could wish for.
That's right.
I know mine.
Okay, what's yours?
That COVID was over and we could all travel and I went to Japan. That's my wish.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good wish.
Honestly, I'd just be pretty boring. I'd be like, hey, I just want some money and be able to live in LA so I can collaborate with talented people and, you know, maybe also wish that I could sell a couple of things or something like that. But yeah, just filmmaking stuff is what I'd wish for, I guess.
Are you saying you can't collaborate with talented people right now?
It's a little bit tougher, and all the people that I kind of work with or deal with around here in St. John's, it's not quite the caliber of LA, I would say.
Period.
Plus, anyone else that's open to work with them makes them watch Leprechaun movies.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that would not be my first choice, I don't think.
It's true. The shade right now is a fucking real, and it's chilling.
Yeah, my wish, if I was going to be like really greedy, right now, it's that I'm trying to get a shelf from IKEA that's sold out all over Canada.
You're just wishing for a shelf?
I just really want this shelf.
Every morning and every night for him.
Oh my god.
It's like to put my books on. I have a lot of books and they just need a home.
It's a very simple wish.
Simple wish. I'm a simple man.
For a simple man, yeah.
IKEA.
Right.
Not even like, some kind of like really fancy, like handmade, something that was like a one-of-a-kind shelf that some artisan in like Germany made. No, it's just a fucking IKEA.
Wait, Mike, what was your wish?
He hasn't given us one yet.
I didn't give you one. Sadly, it's literally that I could have enough money to live comfortably and not have to work with the public.
Yeah.
Yes.
Honestly,
okay.
I don't even want anything big. I just want to be able to not deal with people and just I don't even want lots of money. I just want to be able to live comfortably, eat, and keep my apartment heated. That's pretty much it. And buy a game every now and then. And wine. That's or alternate wish, an endless supply of wine. Always at my fingertips that I didn't have to leave my house for. Like a tap. An endless tap. There we go. That's what I would wish for. It's magic, it's just in the wall, and I just go up to it and pour the little spout, and yeah.
You have to be very specific, because I feel like the Leprechaun would just somehow kill you with endless amounts of wine.
Yeah, I'm just thinking with my wish of money in LA making a movie, I just wind up making pornography
you would make
or something.
Leprechaun 9.
Yeah, exactly. You just make more Leprechaun movies.
Yeah. That would be even worse, yeah.
That would be terrible.
But you'd get to see your name written and directed by Leprechaun 9.
Leprechaun 9. Leprechaun Goes to Labrador. I don't know.
Or it's a porn parody of Leprechaun.
Oh, that's even
worse. like Leprecock or something.
Leprecock.
If that was the title I came up with, I've truly just given up.
Right? Or I don't know, yeah. To be fair, I think your porn Leprechaun would probably be better than any of the actual Leprechaun movies.
I try my best.
Very artful, yeah.
Yeah.
Full of nuance.
I just can't wait for the wrong person to hear this, and then that comes into an existence.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine?
Can I just say the tagline for this episode needs to be Leprecock?
Question mark?
Question mark?
I like how every episode you're like, this is what the tagline needs to be. And Rowan, I don't think, has used one.
I always forget the tagline. That one's easy.
Listen, I am very used to 2 years into this thing at my creative input being completely ignored and invalidated, so it's fine.
It's okay, I feel your pain.
I just always forget, guys. Well, let's get into it. We have 2 movies to review tonight, because if you remember, it was my pick. It's a double feature, all for the year. So, Leprechaun, we'll start with this. Leprechaun 1993, the bio is... A horrific leprechaun goes on a rampage after his precious bag of gold coins is stolen. He uses all of his magical destructive powers to trick, terrorize, and kill anyone who is unlucky enough to hinder his relentless search. In a frantic attempt to survive the wrath of the leprechaun, Tori and her friends scramble to find the only weapon known to kill this Irish monster, a 4-leaf clover. Possibly the longest letterbox bio we've ever read.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to the quality of the movie when it just has to be described in like 2 paragraphs, 6 sentences. Ugh.
I mean, I'm gonna wreck the second movie right now, but it's really interesting because in the first movie they say only a clover can kill him,
yeah.
And the second movie they say only wrought iron can kill him.
I don't think they actually sat down and watched Leprechaun 1 when they went to make Leprechaun 2.
It's true.
This is very
They
true.
went rogue.
So I figured I'd briefly bring up just the director. So this was the directorial debut of Mark Jones. In terms of film, he was known for TV. He did Scooby-Doo episodes and Elf and A-Team, like shit like that.
Nice.
And then he opted not to do Leprechaun 2 because he went and made Rumpelstiltskin, the horror movie.
Yeah, which I remember from like video stores back in the day, just in like the discount like beat horror section.
Yes, and it actually, the Rumpelstiltskin looked freakishly
like
similar
Leprechaun.
to the design of Leprechaun.
How odd.
Absolutely coincidentally.
There was actually a guy like a couple months ago in Halifax on Facebook Marketplace selling the like full-size standee of Rumpelstiltskin like from the video store.
You never picked that up? Come on, man.
I should have.
Yeah, that seems like a real row purchase.
The only Rumpelstiltskin I've ever seen is when Mermaid Theater. So basically there's this like theater company around here and they would come to school and perform plays and they perform Rumpelstiltskin and basically people were just like dressed in all black and they would have these huge like puppets on them. That's the only time I've ever seen Rumpelstiltskin. It was scary.
It was probably not as scary as this film by the looks of it. So I was gonna say in terms of actors, like it stars Warwick Davis, most of these do, and then really the only person you need to bring up is Jennifer Aniston.
Yep. Who I thought was actually like in a relationship with her father at the beginning of this movie just because of like how fucked up, Hollywood dating is, where it's always like the young woman with like the really old man. So then when it was like, I don't know, 30 seconds in, she mentioned it was his daughter. I was like, oh God, like just completely like wrong optics when I was starting this movie.
There was creepy vibes all through that beginning.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I feel like we're a little bit more now that we're in 2021, we're a little bit more like inclined to look for that or notice it a bit more, I guess. It's like I'm sure people watching it back in the day probably didn't even like whatever, but like it probably wouldn't have even bothered them, but here we are.
Yeah, it's like
thank God we're not in that time.
Yeah, it's like when Leonardo DiCaprio, who's like 50, only dates like women from 18 to like 24 or something, I was kind of like, oh God, especially since she's like the spoiled rich kid, like Jennifer Aniston in this movie. I thought it was very much like, oh, this is my sugar baby or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Definitely a sugar daddy.
Yeah.
But the only other person we should note is that the guy that actually kind of like catches her eye is Ken Olant, who plays the painter guy, who was Rob in our favorite and everyone else's April Fool's Day.
Woot! Yeah, this one, I think this was like the only Leprechaun really that had like kind of actors that I was like, oh, I know who they are.
That they have actors in?
Yeah, other than Warwick Davis, of course. But yeah, like it was like when I watched the second one, I was like, I recognize nobody other than, Warwick Davis behind all this like shitload of makeup.
I kind of like seeing Jennifer Aniston in it because it brought her down to earth for me. She's like America's sweetheart and has been for so like decades, but she's just like in a shitty movie.
You know who doesn't like to see Jennifer Aniston in Leprechaun is Jennifer Aniston.
I was gonna say, I've never forgiven her for, like, completely, like blacklisting that movie.
Oh, I never even knew she did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, she absolutely, like, refuses to even acknowledge it.
Oh, geez, okay.
Although I think I read, like, over the last couple years, I think she's become a little more open to it. I think kind of where now that horror is really having its, you know, heyday.
So I say the new Leprechaun movie that I may or may not be pitching is just Jennifer Aniston comes back after 30 years. You know, she has PTSD and has this house built up just to fight against the Leprechaun. And there we go. That's how we can start.
The return of Tori. It has to happen. This is
perfect.
Actually, yeah.
Especially since there's that one piece of gold left that one guy. Like, it's at the end of the movie, it's still inside him, right? Or did I miss a scene? Like,
no, it's still inside him.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's some ways you can go with that, for sure.
Yes, I'm sure it was no longer inside of him the next morning, but anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways.
Well, there's only one way you can get it out, and that's with a leprechaun.
Oh, well, look here. It's already got some traction, y'all.
So, before we get too much into it, Exilia, why don't you explain the Bechdel test and hit them with it?
Okay. So the Bechdel test is kind of a measurement for visual media, I'll say. And basically, it's a measurement to see how one-dimensional they treat women in those media. So basically, it's... Are there two women in the scene together talking about something other than a man? Are they named? And then I have my added dimension of intersectionality. Well, let me tell you, these movies failed miserably. So the first one, I think Jennifer Aniston might be literally the only woman in the entire movie. Am I wrong?
I think so.
The wife at the beginning.
Oh, yes.
Grady's wife.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yes. Sorry for that, 30 seconds at their beginning, O'Grady's wife's in it. And then on the second one...
Well, we'll wait for the second one.
Oh, okay. Well, just remember the definition for the second
That's
one.
That's right. I won't make you say it again. Let's quickly talk about our first experiences. But first, this is how we're doing it all episode long. I'm randomly going to call on Exilia to hit us with a Leprechaun quote.
Oh my god.
Hit us with one.
I want me pot of gold.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Oh no.
Okay, I'm gonna call you out and say that's a cop out. But anyway.
Buckles on me shoes.
Oh God, no!
I don't remember anymore.
It's coming.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not actually quotes. I'm pretty sure you're just like putting on the Irish.
No, they're real quotes, I swear.
So, first experiences. We'll start with you, Mike. Is this the first time you have seen this film?
No, I saw the first couple many moons ago when me and my friend would be frequently tasked with babysitting her two younger sisters, and she had their family was quite well off, and they had a huge big screen TV, the only one I ever knew at that point, and like a big surround sound system, so we would just make her sisters watch horror movies. We'd just go to the video store and rent 20 horror movies and just traumatize her sisters. And one night was Leprechaun night, and that was my first time watching it. And we enjoyed it, but that was a million years ago. So has my opinion changed? We'll find out. But this was the first time in the later part of my life that I watched them.
Dun dun dun.
It's definitely a film that needs to be seen on the biggest screen possible, for sure.
Absolutely. And with as much intoxicant in your system as possible. If at all possible.
How about yourself, Colton?
Well, like the last couple movies, I first saw this at its world premiere at TIFF, of course, all these years.
A24 did distribute this.
A24, yes. No, but I gave it a bad rap last episode when I was on, and I think the only pieces of Leprechaun I've actually seen is from the later ones, In the Hood, or just bits and pieces here. So this was actually my first time watching Leprechaun 1 and 2, both within the last 24 hours. So
welcome to the club.
It was a bit of an experience, yeah.
And how about you, Exilia?
So you made me watch these when we lived in Toronto.
Yeah, I did.
I got about 10 minutes into the space one, and despite really liking space, I hate movies set in space, which is weird. Yeah, that's my experience with them.
And, yeah, I've seen these before. I saw this when I was like 6 or 7, I think. And oddly enough, one of the only times in my entire life that I've ever had like a actual like nightmare was about the Leprechaun. After I saw it the first time, I had like night paralysis basically when I was young, where I was awake but I was like 100% positive the Leprechaun was coming out of my closet, and I was like trying to scream, but I couldn't scream, and it was, and then I, like, woke up. It was just creepy. But, I've seen these, like, so many times that it's ridiculous.
It truly explains so much about you two as a person.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Well, I figure let's get right into it. I mean, we got 2 of these suckers we gotta talk about. So, favorite scene out of Leprechaun 1? Exilia.
Okay, so since I never do favorite kill, I decided I was going to do favorite kill.
Okay.
The favorite kill is obviously when Leprechaun goes into the pawn shop and kills the guy with bouncing on him with a pogo stick. Might have been best kill, like, ever in a movie, I think.
I just really enjoy that the guy that's getting pogoed, like, they keep like turning the camera to his face and he's giving like the worst I'm dying faces. And I just like it because in the special features they talk about how great of a job and great of a scene that is, and I was like, ooh.
I admire that you sat through the special features.
Oh, I did.
It was not sitting through. It was like legitimately he was looking forward to it and enjoying it.
I really was.
He was.
I really was. Colton, how about you?
Honestly, like my favorite scene or favorite kill, whatever we want to go with, it's literally just right in the beginning of the movie when the wife gets pushed down the stairs. Like I honestly don't know why I remember it like this, but you know, there's that old like meme of Liam Neeson climbing over the fence in one of the Taken movies, and there's like 10 or 12 cuts of like him climbing over for some reason with this old woman falling down the stairs. Like I memorize it as like all these different cuts when she's rolling down and screaming, but it was more so like I was just like, oh, okay, this is the type of movie I'm getting into because the Leprechaun like makes fun of her and then, you know, goes and gets a pot of tea or whatever. But it was just kind of like it just set up like my expectations for the movie, and then it was just like so stupid, I guess.
I'll go next. Mine is the pogo stick one. The one I remember the most, and I think it's just schlocky fun.
Yeah.
Mike, how about you?
Well, it was also a favorite kill, because I don't really know that any part of this movie could be called a favorite, but it was the eyeball transplant.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I loved that, and then he's like, an eye for an eye, and I was like, womp womp.
If only those were so easy to do.
Eyeball transplants, I know. It's like he literally just like, and I bet you he was like David Bowie then and had 2 different color eyes. He didn't even like kill somebody who, you know,
had similar eyes.
Who had a similar eye color. He's like, you're here, I'm taking your eye. We're gonna Bowie it up. Why not?
That would have been a neat little detail, though, if he did have different colored eyes from then on out. But
yes! Oh, see the nuance that you are going to bring to Leprechaun 9.
Oh my god, yeah. Writing it down.
I'm telling you right now. Sidecast following Colton's road to Leprechaun.
Oh. Interesting enough, not an original scene like from the original script. I do know that when they made the film, the goal was for this to be a PG horror movie, and then basically the studio just was like, this needs to be rated R. So that was like the eye transplant, the whole like snapping the cop's neck, all the gore stuff was actually like reshoots. just to add gore to it.
Yeah, I didn't do too much reading on this because I was like, Rowan will probably have all the insight into this one. But like, I read somewhere that Warwick Davis's performance was like too comedic, so they went back and like added more gore and stuff, like what you're saying. Like, it was just like, oh, he had like kind of too much personality and too much comedy to the character. Like, we need to make this scarier and gorier for modern horror audiences.
Yeah, well, in Warwick Davis talks about how he almost didn't really like that it was an R-rated movie. He just kind of said, like, the performance and the character, he shaped it as, like, a PG horror that was, like, gonna be a horror movie for kids. And then if he knew it was gonna be R, he said it would have been a totally different portrayal of the Leprechaun.
Interesting. Yeah, because I know he was coming off of like Willow or something at the time, wasn't he? Like, I can't remember what year Willow was, but yeah, he was definitely in that more PG area for sure.
When they distract him by chucking all of Jennifer Aniston's shoes at him, and he picks them up and is like shining them off, but then just like keeps chucking them back on the ground. It doesn't make any sense. But I just thought that was so amusing.
I have another favorite scene. It's when the leprechaun bursts his hand out of the drawer, grabs the dude's dick, and without a moment's hesitation, the guy takes a shotgun and fires it at his crotch, like, instantly. I was like, man, this guy got some balls on him. Like, jeez. Just instantaneously fires a shotgun at his crotch.
I will say, like, every time I watch this movie, I actually hate it a little less. As someone that has seen it many times, I always think this one's really bad. But I will say, like, I feel for, like, a schlocky 90s VHS horror, this is, like, the pinnacle of, like, what you could ask for. This is, like, every, like, 10-year-old going to Blockbuster's dream. Just, like, that's the movie I want.
It is, and in a way, I actually do respect that, because it kind of has that, like, historical value. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but, like, it kind of has that cultural cash in that it was, like you said, like, the ultimate slumber party, like, convince my parents to, like, rent a scary movie for me and my friends that isn't going to be too traumatizing and dark, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's one of those rated R horror movies that, like, parents who usually wouldn't rent, like, a horror movie for their kids would be like, oh, it's the Leprechaun, like, how bad can it be, right? Like, it's not Jason or Freddy, you know, or Michael Myers, like, it's the Leprechaun, like...
You know, they're not, like, all fucking and then getting, like, macheted up their, you know, hoo-has and stuff. So, you know, I feel like because of that kind of tameness of it, it does have that, like, significance, and, you know, I can appreciate that significance. I might not be a fan of the movies myself, spoiler alert, but I do really, really appreciate their importance to, like, large swaths of people at that point in their lives. I will say that.
Also, like, is this kind of, like, peak, like, apex for, like, leprechauns?
Does every leprechaun want to be
in film? Like, the ultimate portrayal, is it not? Maybe one of the only.
Are there any others? Like, I can't even think of.
I can't even think about
leprechaun representation.
So maybe Warwick Davis just knocked it out of the park. No one's ever wanted to do it again because it was so good.
Yeah, like, I feel like there's a leprechaun in, like, I don't know, one of the Shrek movies or something. But yeah, in terms of leprechaun representation, yeah, it's probably the most leprechaun. It's the most bang for your buck if you're looking for leprechauns.
If you're in the market for leprechauns.
Oh my god, and when you finally make Leprechaun, bang for your buck is gonna be
the biggest bang for your buck.
Bang for your buckle.
Bang for your
I'll bring you on board for marketing, Mike.
Listen, I am so ready to work with you on this movie. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
He's sold. He's ready.
Oh, I take back my wish. I wish for you to get this off the ground and me to be part of it.
I thought another interesting thing I'd seen about this that I just thought was, like, really random. I brought up to Exilia earlier today. I can't think of his name. I think his name is Deep Roy. He, like, plays the main Oompa Loompa in Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but he's actually Warwick Davis's stunt double in this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I guess I didn't look at it closely enough, but they claim you can, like, really tell, because he's actually, like, a lot taller than Warwick Davis.
Okay.
So they said in a lot of the scenes, like, you're like, that's not Warwick Davis. Like, he's way taller.
I never noticed it when I was watching it, but yeah, I mean, obviously, if you go frame by frame, you can probably check it out, yeah.
You didn't go frame by frame when watching this?
No, believe it or not, I just let this wash over me.
It's wash over you like a sea of, like, anesthetic just numbing you.
Yeah. There's, like, very clearly a point in my notes where I just stopped trying. I got, like, notes for, like, I don't know, the first 40 minutes, kind of, and then I'm just like, fuck, it's Leprechaun. Like,
yeah, it's...
why am I trying?
Let's not get too academic about it.
Yeah, I know.
40 minutes into it is when the Leprechaun idea struck him, and then it was just...
yeah.
Just outlining from that point on, yeah.
I mean, my biggest thing when watching this was just Jennifer Aniston really was, like, far superior to anyone in this.
Probably that's probably why she
next to Warwick. Like, I mean, I think he did a good job for what he was given. And I mean,
well, the funny thing is when, you know, I was watching it and I realized that in the first one, yes, it's there, but it's more apparent in the second one, as I feel like in most franchises is the case. But, like, right from the get-go, and I think what you were saying about him playing it comedically feeds into this, like, he seems to know that it's campy and fun.
Yeah.
He really plays that up. Like, he never, even in the first one, seems to be, like, taking it too seriously. Whereas everybody else in the cast is really, like just playing it straight, you know?
Yeah.
Well, he reminded me like a lot of, like, Freddy in terms of just being chatty and having, like, all these little sayings and whatnot. Like, obviously he's not as good as Freddy, but there was a lot of it when I was like, oh, there's some whimsicalness and some cheese to this that, like, obviously Warwick Davis was leaning into completely by the second one.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't remember which one it was, but Rowan and I think it's the first one when she calls on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he sticks his little, like, hand out, and we're like, that's so Freddy.
Nightmare, yeah. I was hoping for more of that in the movie, actually, because, like I said, I haven't seen them, and since it was, like, he was reminding me a lot of Freddy Krueger, I was hoping for some weird shit like that, like, you know, contorting his body to different lengths, or, like, kind of him being, like, full demon, or, you know, stuff like that. But obviously, since it doesn't take place in, like, a dream world, obviously there's, you know, limitations to some of that, I guess, at least with the first couple movies. Who knows where it goes after that? But
yeah, there was room there for more like, surrealistic,
yeah,
like, use of him and, like, the lore and his abilities and stuff that they just didn't really sort of take advantage of.
Yeah,
like I said, it could have been surreal. It wasn't a dream, but, like,
a leprechaun exists.
There's magic in the movie. Yeah,
exactly. Like, it's got that, like, liminal space between, like, kind of, you know, your everyday reality and, like, a totally magical, you know, other dimensions. So, like, guys, you know, seriously, take advantage of it.
Yeah, I was existing in a liminal space for the latter half of this movie, just goes up.
It's like I was in a, like, Quaalude, Ambien high.
Yeah.
It's like I would rather take Ambien and sleepwalk than finish this movie.
My biggest issue is kind of, I think, it just didn't seem, like, overly well thought out in terms of, like, the magic and stuff. Like, they broke a lot of their own rules, like, within the film. Like, I kept saying to Exilia, like, there'd be times where, kind of like the first time they shot him, and then he, like, reappears in the fridge and pops out of the fridge. Mm-hmm. But then there's, like, other times that he couldn't, or he didn't teleport.
Yeah.
To places where I'm like, well, you could have just teleported. And,
yeah.
like, it just didn't really make any sense.
I did like a lot of it just for it literally being like, who cares? It's a magical leprechaun. Let's put him in the engine bay. Who cares? Let's put him inside the safe, which in the second one, it winds up being like a prison that he can't get out of. But in the first one, let's ignore that he was already in a safe.
Maybe it's like lead lined and it dampens his abilities.
Sure, we can hand wave it, but
that one thing that I just one random thought that I had when I was watching the first one was, I was like, First of all, I know why they're doing it, because it's like literally just an excuse to put a leprechaun in a like fucking go-kart or whatever, but I'm like, why do they constantly have him like driving around these little fucking vehicles, and where does he get them? But also, why is he driving like a little go-kart and not just teleporting? Like, I love the visual of it, but I'm like, it's just like, he can fucking teleport. Like,
I love the little car, and I love when he's driving it and it goes like he's like moving really fast.
They just speed up the footage so he's not going like 5 miles an hour, just flying.
I love that.
They're like, the insurance company wouldn't let us go above 10, so
yeah.
I just like that the go-kart that he builds in the first one flips an entire truck.
Yeah, pickup truck.
In one
when you
hit.
were talking about
that was so funny.
It just didn't make any sense.
Just literally when you were talking about like the logic or the magic of the movie, it's just like, like obviously when there's a little go-kart flipping a whole pickup truck, it's like, all right, guys, like this isn't in the realms of reality anymore.
Reality has left the building.
Also, did cell phones exist like back then in 1993? Like I was only born in 92, but like she was like, it looked like a pretty modern cell phone, like compared to movie, old cell phones, right? Like,
I think if you were like rich, they might have.
Okay, so it may have worked then. But when I saw it, like the fact that it was like a little like flip phone and stuff and not like just a big black brick, I was like, man, did that thing exist back then? But
that's a good question.
It does if your father's also your sugar daddy.
Oh, God.
I was going to say, just to go back to the magic for a second, I thought it was funny that they kind of, like, broke the logic within the first, like, 3 minutes, where we trap him in the crate, we put the 4-leaf clover on top of the crate.
Yeah.
But then his plan is to burn it, which would just burn the 4-leaf clover.
Yeah.
Don't you know 4-leaf clovers are, like, notoriously fire resistant, so we should be like making houses and stuff out of them. Just
they can also hold up for a decade for no problem without anyone disturbing it or like rotting away. Just I was literally like, after that guy, like I thought he died at the beginning of the movie, O'Grady, right? Like had a stroke or whatever, and I was like, okay, like nobody searched his house, like nobody came here in the 10 years that happened to disturb a 4-leaf clover on a crate or like check out like what's inside of this old creepy crate, like.
Right, and that thing would be dried as fuck, and like you even if you looked at it, it would blow off, right? Like if you breathed while in that house, it would just go flying.
Yeah, it also grows in size by like 3 or 4 times when it falls off the crate. I guess like the original one was way too small to like focus on or whatever. It's like this huge 4-leaf clover that falls off.
I'm still not 100% sure how Ozzy ate a gold coin.
When I was a kid, I had this huge piggy bank shaped as a crayon and dumped all my pennies out on the floor and then proceeded to eat a couple. It was really gross, but
not the
I was like 4.
Yeah, like biting,
not the brightest crayon in the
box. So I got to interrupt things because we know what time it is. It's time for another quote.
What do I look like, me lad? See the hat, the buckles on me shoes. Why, I'm a leprechaun.
I don't know if that was on the mic or not, but like it like blew my eardrums out at one point there in Exilia's delivery, and it was even better.
More bang for your buckles.
Oh, God.
Mike is bringing all the buckle jokes tonight.
It's all I have to contribute tonight, so I gotta let go hard. Okay.
I've prepared no leprechaun jokes.
Yeah, is there much more that you guys want to talk about this first film?
I just want to say I really want Jennifer Aniston's jean shorts. And when she has that gun,
they're pretty fucking sick.
They are. When she has that gun and like the leather jacket and the jean shorts and the LA gear sneakers, she looks like
it's a serve.
Yeah, she looks like a badass like valley girl.
I think that's what they were going for. 100%. Yeah.
My favorite. Actually, now I hate that I didn't say this. This is actually other than the eyeball transplant, my favorite part of the movie, when he gives her the shotgun and, you know, she's going outside and he goes, do you know how to use that? And she, like, fucking cocks it like a goddamn soldier and goes, no. Oh my God, this is amazing. This was that right there. Like, that was the height of the production right there.
I like that too.
Yeah, the only
also,
thing...
the rainbow that they used in the first movie literally had 3 colors. It was like red, blue, green. Remember when the
like
rainbow went to that?
Rainbow. Yeah.
Right? It's like they couldn't afford the full spectrum of Roy G. Biv, so it was just like red, green, blue. It was Ruth Bader Ginsburg rainbow, like just going right to the pot of gold.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's worth like acknowledging is just first of all that, you know, the Leprechaun makeup is pretty decent at times and like the right lighting.
It was.
You know? Yeah,
that's
it is
where
pretty
the
well
budget
done.
went.
Yeah, for sure, especially like probably with how long he would have to spend in the chair each day. And I mean, the gum with the 4-leaf clover right at the end when it gets fired into his mouth, like it is a pretty good like little, you know, his face starts melting and he falls down the well. Like it is a pretty good moment for sure.
I like that part. An interesting fact about that part was Exilia and I had read today that so the scene where he eats the cereal, they actually did get the licensing from Lucky Charms.
Oh, really? Because was it called Lucky Charms in the movie?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
So what happened was that Lucky Charms, the company, who is it, like Kellogg's or whoever?
Yeah,
General Mills. They got to screen the film and basically was just like, this is a giant piece of shit. And they revoke the license. So they had to go back, reshoot the scene, rename the box of cereal, and so the ending had to be reshot, because the ending originally, the kid, when he shoots the gum, he says, your luck's run out, and shoots it. So it was actually their little, like, jab at General Mills where he said the kid says, fuck you, Lucky Charms.
Yeah. I mean that's a better last line than your luck is run out, to be fair, I think.
Yeah, it really is. Also, to really drive that point home, they should have had him like piss on the cereal or like shit in the box or something. Just to like, you know, fuck you, General Mills, you're fucking like nuclear weapon funding piece of shit.
I feel pretty good to get into rating it. We still have a whole other film to talk about.
We do indeed.
So let's start with Exilia.
I'm gonna rate it an okay. It's, you know, it's okay. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, I guess. And it's also definitely not the best. But this is my second or third time seeing it, and I do actually have a little bit of a soft spot in my heart for it. But yeah, I'll give it an okay.
Right on. Mike, let's go with you next.
Okay, so I started this recording fully and completely prepared to give it like the most bottom nay ever, like just on the floor, like, but in the process of talking about it and having a laugh at it, I realized that it probably deserves an okay because of its like kind of slumber party significance, and I feel like the context in which you view it would probably make it better.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the way we've been having a laugh talking about it, it's much better to, like, get together, like, if you're a bunch of kids and watch it, or, like, adults and you're having a few drinks, or, like, having a toke or whatever, you know what I mean? And just laughing at it. Whereas, sitting in my apartment by myself during fucking lockdown, drinking wine by myself, you know what I mean? Like, it just didn't hit the same.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm definitely going to upgrade it to an okay. I'm not going to give it above that, because I still think it's awful, but, like... It definitely gets an okay because I think it is like a ultimate slumber party movie. I will say that.
Yeah. It's like a fun movie.
Yeah. It's you know, you don't go into it expecting, you know, fucking goddamn Oscar or something. So
Yeah.
How about yourself, Colton?
Yeah, it's the same for me. Like, I went into it kind of expecting it to be completely awful, as like people would expect, from the last episode. But I wound up kind of being like, okay, like Warwick Davis's performance is pretty good. The makeup's good. There's a couple of kills. I'm not gonna lie. There's a couple of lines every now and then that got me. Like, just really stupid shit when like the little kid is like, what does he say? Like, good going, Jaws, or something, when he like swallows the coin or whatever it is. It's just some of those lines that are like so innocent from 90s movies that I was kind of like, okay, this is endearing. So yeah, I'm gonna give it an okay as well. It's not terrible, that's for sure. So I've seen a lot worse. So
all right, well, and I'm actually are we still giving out Slay pluses or no?
Oh my god.
No, I'm gonna give it an okay as well. I think it deserves more than an A. Like I said, to me this is the epitome of like the blockbuster home video age, which they talk about, like if you do pick it up on Blu-ray, like they talk about on the special features with like the guy that runs ran TriStar Pictures. He was saying they came up with these movies by thinking of the concept and the poster first and then went from there.
Yeah, it really feels like one of those movies that it's like, okay, what holiday of the year haven't we kind of given a horror movie treatment to yet? And it's like, all right, we can make a Leprechaun look kind of scary in the right light, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I think it's fun, like, for an entry-level horror movie, like, if you're a kid.
Yeah, that's what it is, an entry-level horror movie. It's a step above the, like, PG-13 stuff that you'd see on, like, a network TV on, like, at, like, 11 o'clock or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess it's time to get into the budget game. And
I can't say it because I heard it on the special features, but I can say how much it made because I don't know that.
That's right.
Okay.
So if you're new to the episode and you don't know how it works, I know how much it cost and how much it made, and these guys will fight to the death to figure it out, or at least just somewhat care. So how much did it cost? Exilia has exempted herself, so we'll go with you, Colton.
I got a feeling like that makeup, like, I don't know how long it took to shoot this thing. I would hope, like, not more than, like, 20 days. But that makeup, I think, and Warwick Davis is in a lot of the movies expensive. I'm gonna go with, like, $2 million I'll go with, because it doesn't have enough sets and stuff to be super flashy, I don't think.
All right, and how about you, Mike?
$500,000, Bob.
Oh, all right.
So
I'm underselling it too. Yeah.
So the winner's gonna be Mike on this one.
Oh, you bastard.
$1,001,000.
So it cost $900,000 to make.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was being a troll, but that's honestly like shocking to me.
Very indie budget. This was TriStar. Is it TriStar or TriMark? I think it's TriMark that puts it out, isn't it?
I think it started out as TriStar and they changed to TriMark. Maybe?
I don't know,
the other way
something.
around?
Anyway, this was the first film, like, this company put out, like, and funded themselves. So, yeah, it wasn't, like, a huge budget. Let's go to what did it make, and Exilia can join in on this one. So, Exilia, we'll let you have first crack at it.
Maybe, like, $2.3 million.
All right, Colton.
I'm gonna go a little bit more than that because it was enough to like rush a sequel within a year. Because I think the next one just came out 1 year later. I'm gonna go with like $6 million.
All right, and Mike.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about like $4.5 to $5 million. Because I feel like in 1993, that was still a fair amount of money for a low budget movie. So
yeah.
All right, well, Colton's gonna take it. It made $8.6 million.
Nice.
It was very successful, and like Colton said, they rushed a sequel the year after. And speaking of sequels, I say let's get into the trailer for Leprechaun 2 and get into that.
Soon, my dear. It's almost time.
True love can be hard to find.
For some, it takes a lifetime. For him, it took 1,000 years.
God bless you.
And now that he's finally found her, he's going to love her.
I'm back.
To death.
Kiss me. I'm Irish.
Alright, so let's get into the bio for Leprechaun 2. This one is just as long, also. This time, luck has nothing to do with it. 1,000 years ago, the leprechaun left a bloody trail when he ripped through the countryside in search of his stolen gold. Now he's back in the big city using all of his deadly tricks to snare the girl of his nightmares. His bloody quest becomes more deadly when her boyfriend steals one of the leprechaun's gold coins. The town soon discovers 2 dead bodies and a trail of gold dust leads them to the leprechaun's lair.
Is that what we were supposed to get from the movie? Or
I'm like, did somebody like just drop acid and write that synopsis? Because I feel like it's literally has nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah, very interesting synopsis. But first, I'm not getting into any of the actors because none of these actors are really mentionable other than Warwick Davis.
No. I will disagree with you in 1 point. Well, 3 points. None of them were main characters. But actually that's not true. The guy who, and I will say most of them I don't know their names. The guy that played the like boss of the main character.
Yeah, Morty.
Yeah. He was in a bunch of Seinfeld episodes.
Whoa, yeah, I guess.
So I knew him from that. He was in a bunch of Seinfeld episodes. So really nobody.
He was also in Sid and Nancy.
Yeah. He was in a bunch of like random movies too. But also 2 of the people in the tour car, the tour bus.
Yeah.
One was Clint Howard, of course. So like,
yeah.
Obviously like cult bit part icon. And his wife was played by Kimmy Robertson, who plays the secretary at the police station in all of the Twin Peaks series of movies. So that's kind of a cool little...
Very cool.
She's also a cult figure, you know?
Okay.
I've never seen her in anything else, and I was very excited to see her with her little squeaky voice and her cute blonde hair. So other than that, a bunch of nobodies.
Have anybody seen Kimmy Schmidt?
Mm-hmm.
She reminds me of the landlord in Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I always forget her name.
I can't remember it either. She's in Addams Family as well.
Yes.
Carol Kane.
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of.
Legend, icon, yeah.
Icon. So, I would not tell Exilia anything about the director, because I just wanted to watch her face.
Because I thought, Rodman Flender, what an interesting name.
It sounds like a fish.
Yeah. It sounds like a fake name. It sounds like if I was a director and I was like, I just made a piece of shit movie and I just want like a fake name because I have to be credited by the DGA. And I don't know if that's the case, but I was like, this sounds like a fake ass name if I ever heard one.
Actually, they talked about a funny thing on the credits because what did he do? Direct a couple episodes of Party of Five, and Scott Wolf was like talking shit about Leprechaun and how it got like a sequel, and he was just like, yeah, I was the one that directed that movie, and he's like, no, like the guy's name is like basically thought he had a fake name.
Why would you randomly be talking shit on the set of Party of Five about the Leprechaun?
Because it probably came out around the same time.
So
whatever. I feel like that's a fabricated story.
I don't know. That's what it says.
Rodman Flender.
It said it on the thing.
Rodman Flender. It may have not really hit it big in film, but in the TV world, he's done some stuff.
All right, let's hear it.
So,
like what?
We'll start with less shock in Exilia's face. So he did some episodes of Tales from the Crypt, the live action show.
Oh, yes.
He did Party of Five. He did some episodes of Dawson's Creek. The Scream television show, he did some episodes of.
That's very recent.
Some episodes of The Office.
Oh, okay.
Some episodes of Ugly Betty.
Oh my god, Ugly Betty. Can we just talk about underrated serves?
Did he do Superstore?
No.
Okay.
Just wait.
I thought you were trying.
All the America Ferrara series.
All the America Ferrara series. Yeah. So here's the last three.
Oh, it's the big reveal.
The big reveal.
Out.
So a show Exilia loved, Suburgatory.
Oh,
what?
I love that
Oh
show.
my god, one of my favorite shows ever, starring Scream Queen Jane Levy.
Also, the brother from 6 Feet Under, Brenda Chenoweth's brother, Billy.
Yes.
He's
the
dad.
Oh, of course. Alicia Silverstone pops up. Like, Cheryl Hines. It's truly, like, one of the most underrated TV comedies of, like, the last 10 years. And I will never forgive America for sleeping on it.
I know, and it was cut too short.
And also, the daughter from Weeds, like, the cast on that is out of this world. But anyway, I'm glad that he was involved with that, because every episode of that is a gem.
So, his only other film, Idle Hands.
Oh, wow, no way!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No way!
I knew that one, yeah.
That actually shocks me. I had no idea.
Now I need, like, some serious, like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, like, dun-dun-dun music. So
not like the Leprechauns were, like, the early 90s, like...
This is 1994.
Sleepover movie, and then, like, the late 90s, early 2000s, Idle Hands would definitely have been a, like, slumber party movie for that same age group.
So, early 2000s, what do teenagers love more than he directed episodes of The O.C.?
What?
Oh, shit, alright. I'm on board.
Crossover.
Yeah, this is crossover dream. Yeah.
Like, a lot of episodes, Rowan, or just, like, one or two,
I think he did, like, 2 or 3.
Oh, okay, alright.
It's still, the fact
it's still
that he's
impressive,
involved.
I'm not shitting on it. I was wondering if he was, like, instrumental in it, or if it was just a couple episodes.
That'd be weird. Can you imagine if he was, like, one of the, like, unseen, unheralded driving forces behind the OC? I would actually, like, track this man down and send him a fan letter.
I was hoping Rowan was going to be like, he directed, 3 episodes of Breaking Bad, and I was just going to lose my fucking mind.
Yeah. He directed the series premiere of Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Vince Gilligan, is his pen name.
So, let's get into the Bechdel test for this bad boy. Exilia.
Well, as far as I could count, there's about 3 women in it. One is forcibly kidnapped and forcibly wed to Leprechaun, and also...
Let's just call her the sex slave that she is.
Yeah, and he also wants to impregnate her with his litter of leprechauns.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 are wives on the Dark Side tour. So let's just say it didn't pass.
There's a couple of like little people in the bar that are women as well.
Okay.
And, but yeah, it's like very small. Yeah, very, very small amounts. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to stop you guys there though, because we're gonna have to come with another one, as DJ Khaled says.
Oh no.
Give it to us, Exilia.
Okay. She sneezes once, she sneezes twice.
Not this!
She sneezes twice.
Not this!
She'll be me bride when she sneezes thrice.
Not this. Not this.
I also, just to get this out of the way, I have a leprechaun's home has many surprises.
I think the real
I'm sorry
tagline
to
for this.
any Irish person listening to this.
I think the real tagline for this episode should just be "Not this."
Yes.
Yes. Yep. Do not forget that tomorrow, please.
So let's talk about first experiences. We'll start with you this time, Exilia.
I saw it one other time. I was just trying to remember.
How about you, Colton?
Yeah, this was my first time I watched it, this afternoon, and I wasn't really looking forward to it too much after last night, because I was like, if the first one is only this good, the second one's going to be even worse. So, but yeah, this afternoon is when I saw it.
Mike?
Again, it's sort of the same, like, we watched the first couple when we were babysitting, so, and I hadn't watched the second one since. I actually barely remembered anything about the plot, such as it is. So yeah, the first time since I was a teenager that I watched it was today. Was a few hours ago. Honestly. While I was playing Dead by Daylight, between rounds I was watching chunks of this movie. Yeah, y'all may have seen me on my PS5.
This one I've probably seen, out of the first three, I've seen this the least amount of times. This isn't one that I put in often. So yeah, I've probably only seen this this might be my third time. That might be 3 times too many. We'll find out. Well, let's get into our favorite scenes of this one. We'll start with you this time, Mike.
Okay, my favorite scene is the whole, like, vignette of the dude taking all those couples out on the tour. Because, honestly, while that was happening, first of all the actors that were playing the, like, couples, like I said, well, 2, I don't know who 2 of them were, but the other 2, like, were kind of cult figures that I know and love. And I just found them all very charming, and I thought that it was kind of really funny and diverting. And the whole time I was watching it, because I was not in the headspace of, I'm watching these awful movies, and I didn't want to be, that
Payback.
I was very happy at that point to be forgetting that I was actually watching a Leprechaun movie, because the Leprechaun just wasn't in it for like 20 minutes, and it was just this guy driving these bitching couples around, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was like a nice kind of like weird, bizarre detour from like the actual Leprechaun plot.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really understand why it was there, other than to, like, get them from point A to point B, but it was, like, a really prolonged journey. But, yeah, that was my favorite part. Honestly, that whole beginning section with him getting her to the go-kart track, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I just thought it was really, like, charming and funny and corny. So, yeah.
How about yourself, Colton? Favorite scene or kill?
Favorite scene is like, it's the same thing for me, that it's like my favorite kill. It's definitely like the pot of gold inside of the guy's gut. Like when he gets the 3 wishes, like it is so silly, and like how extended his stomach gets and like drapes across the floor and stuff too, since the pot is inside. And it's
I was watching that and going, this is me during quarantine, but like just accelerated.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that was my favorite part. But then I was also kind of, like I said, reflecting on the first one and being like, wait, he was in a safe in the first one and he wasn't like burning alive in it. But yeah, no, that was probably my favorite scene of this one, other than the one line where like the guy at the go-kart track delivers it to Bridget, and it's like, I took the whole night off for you. And what about those chili dogs? And I was just,
oh my god, I know the chili dogs. I wrote down the chili dogs.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Were you really gonna like try to fuck after having like a feed of chili dogs?
Chili dogs,
No, you do not like have chili dogs and then fuck. Like that's not how it works.
I feel bad for her because everybody's just using her for sex.
Yeah,
I know, and like she's not even that hot.
Chili dog and chill.
Yeah, chili dog and
god,
chill.
no. Oh. I'm just like thinking of the like restroom nightmare that would be.
I just when this movie started, I was just like, man, this girl's a far cry from Jennifer Aniston. But I'm not just talking about her looks, but like her accent and her acting and everything too. It's very strange. Like I'm not sure what accent she had the entire movie, but it was a very weird accent. And then her acting is it's certainly not like A-list quality, that's for sure.
No, I felt like because her ancestor was supposed to be Irish, but she was in America, I feel like they said to her, be vaguely Irish.
Oh God, I never got Irish.
And so the whole movie, I was interpreting everything that she said as vaguely Irish, and it made sense in that I was like inventing this like dimension.
Reason why she had a bad accent.
Yeah, exactly. I was
Nice.
essentially just like excusing the awful acting.
Her accent, Irish accent's almost as good as mine.
Yeah, we need like a list.
I would say yours is better.
We need a listener's poll. Whose accent's better, Exilia or Bridget?
Going Exilia all the way on that one.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Exilia? Favorite scene, favorite kill?
So, I actually really liked all of the kills in this movie. Normally, when you ask me favorite kill, that's why I always pick scene, because I'm like, can't remember. But I think my favorite kill has to be when he's at the coffee shop and the barista's like the guy from Mad TV and he's making fun of
Michael
him.
McDonald!
Yeah.
That was such a cool moment.
And he like stigmatas his hands with forks and then like kills them with
I'm using stigmata as a verb from now on. I got stigmata.
and he like puts a steamer in his face from like the coffee machine or whatever. I've never been a barista, but I'm assuming that's what that was.
No, it was. Yeah, it was the steaming one for like, making lattes and stuff.
And I just, as like a person who has worked in the service sector before, I'm just like,
Oh my God, when he was saying pay up so I can leave, I was like, this is my entire fucking life.
Yes.
Go to the cash register and get the fuck out, please.
Well, what was kind of interesting is like Robin Flender, he said in an interview, like he's always been obsessed with character actors. So he was saying that was like a big casting choice in this was he just didn't care about like getting someone big or anything like that.
But that's what it was. Like all those little bit parts and stuff were all like weird cult people that have like very strong personalities, right?
Yeah. And I won't go too much into my favorite scene kill. Mine is also the pot of gold in Morty's stomach. I think that is amazing.
No one picked where he had the fan and he thought they were
the titty fan, as I call it.
And then his head gets fanned.
That was
to
pretty...
death.
My issue is you didn't really see it.
Oh, okay. So if you saw it,
I liked it. If I had saw some, I would have liked it better. I liked it.
Yeah, it was like a shadow, and then like at the front door for like a split second, I think the body swings down in front of it or something. Yeah,
I like the visual of the pot of gold.
It's pretty cool.
But can we also talk about how that pot of gold stomach scene was very clearly inspired by and/or a reference to Nightmare on Elm Street 2 when Freddy's coming out of the stomach, including the using a fingernail to split it open.
Yeah.
Oh,
right, because he cut open his stomach with the finger,
with
like
his fingers.
Now you have me wanting to watch all the Leprechauns, because we had a Nightmare on Elm Street 1 reference in the first one.
God, you started this.
Now a Nightmare on Elm Street 2 reference in the second one.
I'm the one that has to watch all these now.
I wonder if it continues to go on.
I know, I feel so awful for you, girl.
Thank you.
I think kind of the big elephant in the room with this film
wait, hang on. Rewind. There's also another Nightmare on Elm Street reference in this movie.
Oh, we'll do that.
I looked at my notes and was like, oh yeah. So I thought also that there was another reference when he gets like resurrected or whatever with the I'm gonna call it the magical hobo whiskey, the Canadian Club whiskey. That magically resurrects him, even though it's nowhere near where he got buried in the first movie. I thought that was a reference to the flaming dog piss from Nightmare on Elm Street 4. So I'm just saying, maybe it's me projecting another franchise onto this one, but I just saw Nightmare on Elm Street references all over this, so I'm sorry for interrupting, but I just had to throw that in, because that was literally magic piss whiskey equals fire dog piss.
No, all I was saying was I think like the biggest elephant in the room with this film
is how Cody doesn't have a bottom sheet on his bed.
No.
That's the scariest thing about this movie.
I didn't notice
No,
that.
it is. When you see somebody that doesn't have a bottom sheet on their bed, you can smell that bedroom.
Oh,
you can smell it, and if you look at the window, you know there's a fucking sheet tacked over it instead of a fucking curtain.
That's where the bottom sheet went.
The bottom sheet is over the window. That's what I'm saying. Like,
oh my
there's no
God.
curtain. The bottom sheet is over the
Imagine
window.
putting a fitted sheet up on your window. Sorry, Rowan.
It's okay. No,
I can't even put a fitted sheet on my bed still, let alone over a window. So if you can do that, more power to you.
What I was going to say is just the fact that this movie clearly throws out everything from the first film.
It does.
Yes, okay, so my big issue, and I know this is so fucking stupid, but like, you know, he says in the first one to whoever as he's gonna kill him, like, I've, been waiting for this for 600 years, or I'm 600... No, he's like, I'm 600 years old or whatever. He very specifically says that he's 600 years old. And then in this movie that takes place 1 year later, it's supposed to be 1,000 years. I'm like, is this set 400 years in the future?
And 1,000 years since
this?
He saw her, not that since he's been born.
Yes, so theoretically, he's even older.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, and now I know this is more likely of the two options, do they just not give a fuck and like completely ignored the complete timeline of the first movie? Or, hear me out, is this actually doing something really radical for horror series? And every single movie, is it actually a different Leprechaun?
So
is it like Doctor Who and he gets reincarnated?
I have a solution.
Every it's not, it's the same like spirit but not the same actual thing, right? Like, is he actually thousands of years old, and was that body just 600 years old?
Time is a social construct.
Time is a social construct. E equals MC squared.
So the cop out from I think the director, and then Warwick Davis, but you could tell he was pretty pissed off about it in all the interviews, was that they never explicitly said it is the same Leprechaun.
Okay, yeah, see, I was like,
such a
and
cop-out.
that's what I thought, and it is a cop-out, and I was like,
Yes.
but is this their excuse for why they're ignoring the timeline of the first one? But also, you could easily negate that criticism by just saying, like, it's a different Leprechaun, and just have them all played by Warwick Davis. Nobody would care. Nobody would go, we want all our different Leprechauns played by other people, Like, nobody would say that. It's like saying, well, we want all of our Freddys played by different actors. No, everyone wants to see Robert Englund. Everybody wants to see Warwick Davis. So just say, yeah, every movie, it's a different Leprechaun. It's like an anthology series. It's like American Horror Story. Like, you have the same actors playing different roles, but they're not the same characters,
Maybe that's why they pop up in different places. Like, LA and the hood and
instead of
space.
being the well, instead of being, because I just assumed, because I could not remember number 2 for the life of me. I couldn't remember the plots of either of the movies, but I just assumed that they were gonna, like, someone visits the farm because it was like, oh my god, like, the, shit went down here last year or 2 years ago or whatever, and
But
they,
are
like,
there-
accidentally revive them.
But are there inconsistencies, like, with every movie? Because I feel like if there's not, then it totally kills that theory.
Yeah, I can't really remember because it's been so long since I've seen them, but I would be interested to go back and see how he's resurrected in the third one, I guess.
It's just so strange because they have such a clean start for the Leprechaun 2 sequel, and just like, hey, there's one piece of gold left. Like, even if they wanted to do this like romance subplot, they could have literally been like, hey, this guy who had the one piece of gold has like a daughter or something that the Leprechaun likes when he goes to kill him to take back the piece of gold. Like, I don't understand why they had to do this like 1,000 years ago, change everything about what we know.
This weird
right?
double motivation. It was like the gold and this bizarre 1,000-year subplot.
Yeah, I it's so strange. Yeah.
Although I will say, the one serve of this movie was in the modern part and the ancient part. The slave collar thing was actually really nicely designed.
Okay.
That's a weird thing to say, but like as a looking at it as a prop, like, I thought that the like design on the metal and stuff was really nice, and the like heart lock on hers, even though she was a fucking sex slave, which is disgusting. Just looking at it aesthetically as a prop from a movie, I thought was Like the whoever designed that, the like costume department did a really good job.
And speaking of the costume department, can we please speak about the dad's like patchy pube beard mustache thing?
I was literally just about to say that, but I let you go ahead. It's just like, it's so atrocious in the like 1,000-year-old flashback. Ugh.
Terrible.
Yeah.
It looks like they took pubes and just like put it like in random spots.
They just got the Elmer's glue out,
Yeah.
Rubbed it on his jaw, put some pubes on there. It's atrocious. It's terrible.
They're like, we got like 4 hours to bang this shootout. It's only 2 minutes of the movie. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
We spent 3.5 hours on Warwick Davis's makeup here. We got 5 minutes for you to get this beard on. Like, that's very clearly what it is.
Our makeup artist is literally about to go home for the night, so get the fuck in there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of rough things. I really laughed every time I saw like the cave, the home.
Yeah.
Because I was like, man, this looks really bad. Like it literally just looks like styrofoam.
Also, when she first gets in there and realizes that she can't leave or whatever, and there's literally a door, like little steps with the door out next to her, but she chooses to run the completely opposite way.
Yeah.
I find that really confusing.
A lot of bad choices in this.
I like the Scooby-Doo scene near the end where they're just running through the hallways and they keep like looping around again.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's funny, like they couldn't even match the shot perfectly. Like every single time they jump back to a different, to show them come out of the hallway again, you can see the lighting change flicker like slightly. And I'm just like, you guys couldn't just leave like the camera running or have like the hallway loop around in the background or something. It's so strange. It's just like, oh no, I was just going to say, yeah, it's so strange. Like there's not too much artistry in that at all.
I also think that the second one is completely lacking in clovers. I can't think of seeing any 4-leaf clovers.
There's one on as soon as you come into the movie, like when it goes 1,000 years later, there's like a St. Patty's Day clover on a street sign, I think. And I was like, okay, is that going to factor in somehow? But yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's like
very
look,
scant.
Foreshadowing, right?
Yeah, but no.
No, they totally like forego the like clover thing for the wrought iron.
So strange.
They're like, we're in the city. Where are they gonna fucking hunt for clovers? Like they're gonna go to like, oh look, there's a patch of grass under that tree over there. Like, let's go find a clover over there.
Also, is every citizen issued like a book of a guide for gold coins?
Yeah,
everybody
and
has
it's got to be at least 30 inches tall.
Yeah. Let me just whip this out.
Yeah.
I did kind of appreciate the lore building on it though. Like I think I like the mythical direction this one took. And built up.
Well, it's nice that they went back and like delved into, because he is very old, so it's nice that they did kind of go back in time and touch on the fact that he was doing nefarious things hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, like I thought that was good. I know, interestingly enough, I know Warwick Davis was not a huge fan of this one. And kind of all the things that we're like talking about is he just kind of felt they threw away all the rules of the first one. Yet again, another Nightmare on Elm Street similarity, I think, where...
Yeah.
That's why they did it. They made it completely inconsistent.
Yeah,
because it's a throwback to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Everything wants to be Nightmare on Elm Street 2 Freddy's Revenge because it's literally one of the greatest horror movies to have ever been produced. Period.
Like, I honestly wonder, like, with how much it diverges, like, you could have kept that, like, mythical, 1,000 years later and that cool tapestry to show, like, the family tree.
Oh, the family tree was really beautiful. That was really nicely done. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, you could have kept that and then still, like, made the narrative, like, go from one to the other with, like, the piece of gold or something, right? Like, I don't know why they had to throw that out. Like, it completely ignores everything. You could have just expanded on the myth and basically been like, hey, he's stronger now. The 4-leaf clover doesn't bother him, you know, or something. Who knows, right?
Instead and I actually think I would have found it better if it wasn't, I'm going to seduce your,
girlfriend,
your ancestor 1,000 years from now.
Yeah.
I would have liked it better if the gold coin thing had happened by accident, and then the fact that his girlfriend was the ancestor would have been a really nice tie.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they, like, kind of had these two weird, like, paths trying to converge.
Yeah.
And, like, I know there was a difficult time in terms of, like, this movie was, like, edited to all hell.
Okay.
It wasn't even an hour and a half. It was like...
No, it was hour 23 or something, yeah.
Yeah.
So, in the script for it, like, there's 2 characters in it that were in it and then totally edited out. So, there was supposed to be another woman and another guy that when they go to the go-karts, like, because she says they're going with a group of friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that does seem to be, like, the whole build-up of that first, like, 20 minutes is getting to the go-kart place.
So...
Friends, a.k.a. Billy,
one dude
his name
who likes
is.
chili dogs, yeah.
Chili dog.
Who wants to have chili dogs and then, like, you know, commit sexual assault. But anyway.
And I saw an original script, or, like...
He read the whole original script.
Well, I read about it.
Oh my god, man. Come on.
Yeah, that would be rough.
Commitment is, like...
on another level.
Off the charts, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, like, the issue was, like, the original idea for it was really bizarre. Apparently they wanted it to be, like, a courtroom drama. So...
Okay.
Okay.
So after what's his name, like Ian, I think his name is, that dies by the blades or whatever.
His name was Billy.
No, I think it's Ian, isn't it?
I think it's Billy.
I don't know. I don't have his name written down. I have the other guys.
It does. No, it's Ian.
Oh.
Okay.
And so basically what was going to happen was they wanted it so the guy would get arrested for the murders and he'd be, like, on trial for murder. And it was going to be this whole courtroom drama where you were sure he was going to get convicted. And then, like, an hour into it, you find out that the lawyer is actually the Leprechaun dressed up as a human.
That's even worse. What are they smoking? Like...
Leprechaun in court.
It's like, it was like this really bizarre write-up. And I don't know, I think I'm kind of living for it. I think I am interested.
I'm not gonna lie, I would have loved to see that treatment of it.
The Leprechaun courtroom drama we all need.
I'm also sort of like, my brain feels like it's dissolving because that's so fucked up.
I just think about, like, how boring it would have been to sit around for an hour until it's revealed there's a leprechaun in this movie. Like,
yeah, really.
Oh my god. Just all the folks that came out for that courtroom drama, you know, like, what is this when the leprechaun rears its head?
2.
Yeah.
Publicly appointed counsel. Like...
Well, and like I said, I think they just didn't know. Because I do know that they did try to get Jennifer Aniston to come back.
Yeah.
Because, of course, the original idea was it would start from the first one. Of course, she was doing Friends by then, and
yeah, I was gonna say literally the year this one came out was the year Friends came out.
And they only I saw they only offered her $25,000 to do it.
Oh my god. Okay.
So,
like, but the thing is, like, you don't need her back, really. You could have had her, like, you could have had a girl on screen in a house or something, and just a voice even. All you would need back is Ozzy, the dude who had the gold piece, right?
Yeah.
Be like, oh, I passed it down,
and, I mean,
or like,
no offense, but I'm sure that guy wasn't really.
Yeah, I think he's fine.
Much, so.
Yeah, you probably could have got him.
And I know another kind of issue they had with this one when filming it was that apparently Warwick Davis was, like, in the middle of doing something else. Simply because he was talking about the horror show of casting for this, because they went to him and said, we're doing a sequel and we don't want you back.
What the hell?
And so he...
Awkward.
So he was just kind of like, oh, I don't really know, like, if this is, like, a power move to try to get me to agree on, like, a certain amount of money. And the whole time, like, that he shot 1 and 2, he was actually under contract with George Lucas.
Yeah, I wonder if that was for Willow. Because I think George Lucas was involved in that. I wonder. Do you know what it was for?
I'm not sure, like, that. Plus, like, I know he was involved in, like, the Ewok TV shows.
Oh, shit. Yeah, okay.
And stuff like that. Because at the end of the first one, there's actually a thank you to George Lucas for letting him do it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I do know he was saying that, like, he was really only shooting this, like, for a couple hours a day, and he was flying back and forth to London, shooting in London, and then coming to do this.
Man, oh man, the work ethic on that guy then, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they said they tested, like, other people, and just, they were like, it was kind of the Freddy thing. It was exactly the Freddy thing, where they were like, we tested other people, and, like, you have to have Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun.
He is great in the role. Yeah, like, recasting him is just like, there'd be absolutely no reason to see this, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he brings all the personality to it.
Yeah.
And the charm and the charisma.
Yeah, exactly. The one thing I will say with this one is I like that we definitely get more kind of comedic in this, which I think plays well for the Leprechaun. And I think as it goes on, like I said, we just keep saying the same thing. It's kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Like, as they go, they get schlockier and schlockier. There's more self-aware jokes. And I think that he kind of came more into the character in this one in terms of what we'd see for the rest of the franchise.
I think at this point he accepted... this is gonna be my Freddy Krueger, and I'm probably gonna have multiple movies. Like, I don't know what his contract was, so I'm sure it was for, like, 5 or 6 more movies or whatever.
Yeah, I wonder if they even did that back then.
Yeah, you know, I feel like he just said, fuck it, I'm gonna chew up the scenery, and, like, I'm gonna become, like, a camp icon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Warwick Davis knew, like, camp icon, set up the, like, fucking, you know... going to conventions and shit to, like, this is my meal ticket for the rest of my life.
That's right, you can eat off this for sure.
Absolutely, you can eat off of it, and while you're eating up the scenery.
Yeah, is there anything else we wanted to talk? I feel like there's not a lot to talk about with this one. It's
I got one dumb little point that, like, when he throws the fire poker from laying, I think he's, like, literally laying on the ground at one point, and he throws a fire poker, and it just, like, tracks the fire poker through the air into, like, I think the Leprechaun catches it the first time.
Yeah.
It is, some of the, like, cheesiest shit, and then the fact that it's, like, paid off right at the end where he throws, like, the little poker again, or the rod eye again, like, it's so cheesy and terrible, but, like, I did laugh. Like, it was just, once again, like, that cheesy filmmaking, right? It's like, how the hell are you gonna throw a fire poker from, like, lying on the ground, like, through the air like that? It's just so dumb.
Yeah, the fire poker definitely got its mileage in this movie.
Oh yeah.
They only had the one. They're like, we gotta make this count.
Make it count. Yeah. So are we comfortable rating this?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Course, yeah.
Colton, we'll start with you this time.
See, like, I don't like this one as much as the first one, but I still don't know if I can, like, dog it enough to say it's a nay completely. Like, it is in a lot of ways. It's very similar to the first one, a little bit more comedy. You know, Warwick Davis is still really good. Like, obviously, like, the people they got in it, like, the girl playing Bridget, like I said, she's just, like, horrible.
Yeah.
And, like, the budget definitely goes down a bit, but I think I'd still give it, like, a very, very soft okay. It's, like, it's right in that level of, like, mediocre to me. It's like, you know, if there was a meh on your on your rating, that's what it would be, right? It's like very, very soft okay.
All right, Exilia, how about you?
I feel the exact same way. It is really similar, although I do like all the kills, so that's a good thing. But yeah, it's like on the low end of okay.
Low end of okay. Mike, how about yourself?
Okay, again, as I said with the last one, I was fully expecting to be like complete 2 thumbs down, poo-poo, I'm blowing raspberry at both of these movies. But I will also give it an okay, because, and I will say this, in terms of when I feel like it's not as fun talking about this one as it was with the first one.
No.
So I feel like this one loses its, what I'm now going to start calling, like, slumber party aesthetic.
It's charm. Lucky charm.
Right, it has a slumber party charm, but I also, when I was watching them, like, rewatching them, I actually sort of, on a solo view, liked it a little bit more because I feel like they did lean into the comedy a little bit more, and, you know, I just felt like there were some elements of it that were technically better. Like, I feel like the effects were a little bit better, and even though I feel like they still didn't have the budget for it.
There's a part where a boom microphone just dips into the shot real quick.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
It's like
towards the end.
Boom mic dips into frame when Leprechaun fools Cody into giving him the gold coin. So it's when like Bridget is the Leprechaun, and like it literally dips into the shot, almost bonks him on the head. It's like it was like only for a second, but I was like, come on, guys! Like the boom mic is in the shot, like in a professional movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's bad.
It's always embarrassing, but I will say I'll give it. It's on the lower end of okay than the first one is, because I don't feel like it's as much of a like fun watch it with a couple of your like if we were all here together watching it. I feel like all four of us had been getting together here in my apartment, having a few drinks, and watching these two movies together. I feel like we would have liked the first one a lot more.
Yeah.
It
would have had more of like the kind of shock value as well too.
Yeah,
it's like the second one just kind of feels like, okay, more of this, you know?
The second one was very much like they were just like, oh, this committee researched the elements of the first one that you know or whatever, and it's just it didn't have like any heart behind it. I feel like it was more of a like corporate sequel, whereas the first one, even though it was kind of garbagey, it was like they were still trying, like they were putting their hearts into it. God love them, you know what I mean? That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna be the only one. I am gonna give it a nay.
Oh, wow. All right.
Oh my god, my wig is in fucking space right now.
Yeah.
Wig in space.
I do not like this one.
You do love part 3 though.
I love part 3. I think 3 is where it hits its stride. Yeah, I wasn't feeling it. I think it's way more poorly made to me than the first one. Like I said, I thought the sets were cheap. Everything just kind of looked cheap.
I feel like they had a bigger budget, but they stretched it much too thin because they were trying to do a lot more with a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like they had a little bit more money, but they were trying to do a lot more with it. And it really, like, did not pay off. Like you said, the sets in the like, lair.
Yeah.
You could have easily done, like, I'm going to call it the cube effect, right? Like the movie Cube.
Yeah,
They literally had clearly 1 or 2 sets and just changed the lighting on each one.
Yeah.
But, like, it really, like, they do it so well that, like, the suspension of disbelief is real. And, like, you could truly picture this, like, massive... But, like... You're watching that and you're like, this is literally just a like 20-foot square. Like, this is all they got, man. And it's probably recycled from some other movie that they shot like 6 months before.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, just no. Sean, nay from me. I think you're better off watching the first one and just skipping to the third one.
I wonder if I've seen the third one, if I'd be like on your same page, where I'd be like, yeah, the first one's okay, the second one is worse than the first one, but the third one's better, so I'd want to put it at like a nay, but yeah, since I haven't seen it, jury's out for me.
Well, let's get into the budget game then. We will start with Colton this time. How much do you think it cost?
God, I think we started with me last time, and I went $2 million, and I feel like usually you go more money on the sequel, but this looks like budget is all hell. I'm going to go like $500,000.
All right. Mike, your guess.
Okay. I'm going to kind of go the opposite. I feel like they had more of a budget and probably snorted a lot of it. So I'm going to say probably like 3 to 4 million, like 3.5 million. Let's go. Yeah, let's do about 3.5 million.
All right, and Exilia.
I say 2.2 million.
All right, so I'll preface by saying that Warwick Davis said that he felt this was far more low budget than the first one.
Yeah.
Mike kind of really hit on the point he made. He said he just felt everything was being stretched really thin because they wanted to do so much. Exilia wins.
Woo!
So it was
done.
It was $2 million.
Nice.
Wow.
The budget was $2 million.
I hope Warwick Davis got most of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say he carried that movie.
It does not show.
He said he did get a pay bump. He said he got a pay bump.
Okay, good.
I don't know how much more of a pay bump.
Yeah, but like that's relative. Like,
but like,
so he
yeah,
got
like
3 peanuts instead of 1. Like,
yeah, I can't remember, but like The Lighthouse, I think was made for like 3 million or 4 million last time we were here. Like Leprechaun 2 is not even close.
So let's do how much it made. Mike, we'll start with you.
Okay, I'll say like 5 mil.
5 mil. Exilia.
2 million.
2 million, and Colton.
Ooh, I'm going like barely enough by Hollywood math. I'm gonna go with like 3.5 mil.
3.5 mil.
Yeah.
So I'll preface this one by saying that this
the
prefaces. So this was the death of the Leprechaun at the theater.
Oh yes, because I was gonna say this was very much a direct-to-video series.
So this was the last one that got a theatrical debut. All the rest were directly to video. So this made $2.3 million. So Exilia won.
Twice. Good job.
So they made $300,000.
Wow.
On Hollywood math, they wouldn't even break even on that because you got to factor in like the marketing and all that too, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Well, and coming from, we didn't mention it on the first movie, but for 1993... the first Leprechaun was the top-selling home video of the year. Like, they caked off of the first one.
And, like, it has to be said, for any youngsters that don't realize, at that point, I feel like, now I could be wrong, but I feel like I've read that in the, like, late 80s to probably mid-90s, like, each tape on home video, like, that you went, like if you went to a video store and they had 3 copies of something, I'm pretty sure that each tape costed, like, $175.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
Right, so it was one of those things that, like...
They cleaned up good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would say it was a lot of video stores, basically what we were saying, like buying shitloads of copies of Leprechaun, just because it probably was, like you said, like a good one for kids to rent on the weekends,
slumber party
right?
movie,
Yeah, exactly. So that is everything for this evening. I'm not gonna bother with all my shameless promotion. You guys know it. This is a longer episode because we had to do these amazing films. But before we even say goodbye, it is Exilia's pick next. I don't know what she's gonna pick, and I am just waiting in anticipation.
Okay.
I will see myself out. Goodbye. See you next week.
What? Okay, so I'm gonna pick Brain Damage.
All right.
It had to be done.
It, yeah.
Oh, it had to be done.
It had to be done. Exilia loves herself some Brain Damage.
If you have Tubi, I believe you can access it on Tubi.
Also available on Arrow. Arrow has a great copy available.
And I think I had watched it on...
Oh my god, is Brain Damage the one with the face stretched out on like a drum?
We go over
That's
this
Brain Dead.
all the time.
Every episode I mix the two of these up.
No, Brain Damage.
I watched it, and then Rowan came home and I watched it again because I made him watch it.
Wow.
It is very interesting.
It's a very Exilia movie.
Exilia movie.
I love Exilia movies, even when I hate them.
Do you, though? Because I think you rag on them quite a bit.
I said I love them even when I hate them, which might be more frequently than not.
I gotta say, as a listener, I love Mike and all, but some of his picks where they're just straight
terrible.
up not horror movies remotely, I just go, what the hell is this, Mike?
Guys, call me out! Call me out! Call me out! Not this. Listen, I'm sorry. I love pushing the boundaries, okay? I love pushing the boundaries.
Anything could be a
I actually had a
horror movie,
conversation with someone a few weeks ago where they said about Strange Days. I love that. I'm so glad you did it. Strange Days was one of my favorite movies. It was really interesting.
All right.
It wasn't
They
Colton that said
a
that.
horror movie, but anyway.
But yeah, and before we go, we have to thank Colton for coming back. And
thanks for having me.
I want to say I need to step in here and say thank you for coming back, and I'm sorry for literally forcing
me
to do this. I held a gun to your head and said you have to come back next week.
I love that I've reviewed 2 very prestigious horror films and 2 Leprechaun films on this podcast.
Like, to me, the perfect follow-up to The Lighthouse was you being here and talking about Leprechaun. Like, I think that this sort of, like, captures that, like, dichotomy of, like, horror viewership so well.
It's
like,
true, yeah.
The A24, like, prestige, you know, academic horror, and then the fucking garbage sleepover trash, right?
Yeah, I know. It was fun, guys.
And
like,
it was nice to have you here for some trash.
No.
You know?
Thanks for having me. It was definitely more enjoyable talking about the movies than watching them, is what I'll say.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
Well, and hopefully...
It's the sleepover effect. It's the sleepover effect.
And hopefully we can have you back when we, you know, do something a little more academic like Leprechaun Space.
Yeah, just like, a couple more academic films like Leprechaun 3 and Leprechaun 4.
Yes, yeah. We need Leprechaun doing blackjack and pulling the lever on them like fucking slot machines. Dolly Parton slot machine.
But I think that is everything for this evening. Thank you for listening and supporting. As always, I'm your humble host, Rowan.
Bye, it's Exilia.
It's Mike, bye.
And it's me, Colton. Thanks for having me back.
See you later.
We're going to expand our weekly video segment to take you into the back shelves of your local video store, back where it says horror videos, and where kids are devouring some awful films that we call the video nasties.
Are you freebasing? Inquiring minds want to know.
I have to break free from this culture of mechanical reproductions and the thick incrustations dying on the surface.
Fuck the prime time, bitch!
The pain, I can assure you, will be exquisite. As for our deaths, come with me and be immortal.
We have such sights to show you.
We've got to return some videotapes.